Hey everybody, Mario here, otherwise known as Y2 on the interwebs, and welcome to yet another edition of the 52 Review. I picked up 6, I'm going to get right to it and start talking about them. So let's get started with Wonder Woman number 6. Alright, so I really have to stop underestimating Brian Azzarello. I feel like I'm underestimating him and I think he's going to screw up, and I think that this is just going to be a really dumb series. But as it turns out, it really isn't. Yeah, I know, I really kind of should have figured that out after, at least the 3rd issue. Anyway, Tony Akins is back doing the guest artwork for this issue as well, and I have to say it's not that bad. It actually works well for Wonder Woman, or as I like to call it, Goddess of War, because pretty much that's pretty much what this is reminding me of. If you've played God of War any, or have seen Clash of the Titans, the old good one, then you know what I'm talking about. So in this one, Wonder Woman's doing everything she can to keep the gods placated at bay, which includes Poseidon and Hermes, and of course Hera. There's a little trickery involved, and we get a reminder that Wonder Woman ain't Batman, in which she has no problem taking out people, or in this case, creatures. The Centaur never really had a chance, and once again it just reinforces what I said about this being reminiscent of God of War. Okay, maybe it's not as gory as God of War, or as super sexualized, but yeah, it does have some sort of similarities. I do have to say though that if this is wrapping up a story arc, I really didn't notice it up until, well, someone else pointed it out to me. But hey, the issue and the series are pretty great. I continue to underestimate it, and I continue to be proven wrong, and I look forward to the 7th issue. Check it out. Next up is Supergirl number 6. See, a lot of us had complaints that Supergirl was slow and had no direction at first. Yeah, I did agree to a point that it was slow, but I started to notice there was a story arc going on here. It was about a teenage girl, far away from home, not knowing how she made it to Earth, trying to solve a mystery, and she just happened to find the answer she sought, but it seems that more questions were brought to her, especially one in the form of the villainous Rain. Well, things didn't go so great for Supergirl in the last issue, and we get to see the continuation of that in this issue. Despite the fact that she lost her home and her family and her old life, she still has a chance to seek out a new one and make a new name for herself and do the good that she is capable of doing. That's the idea. Kind of similar to Superman, but for her, things are still, this concept and everything and her powers are still very much new and foreign to her. And it's going to be interesting to see how she deals with that and a villain, or rather a group of villains. Minor spoiler. You'll know what I mean once you get to the end of the issue. I gotta hand it to Michael Green. I don't think anybody would really think that Supergirl would amount to anything, but really it's actually been a rather enjoyable read. I know not everyone agrees with that, but it's been a really good read. And considering how long this story arc has lasted, well, I can't wait to see how it ends next issue. Next up is Green Lantern Corps number 6. Again, this issue proves that this is pretty much the Expendables with Green Lanterns in them. Not a bad thing, if you can just push aside the fact that Green Lanterns are busting out gats and going blat 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 everywhere. I'm not saying it was a bad thing. I actually think it was a rather inspired decision by Peter Tomasi to go ahead and do that, but considering that the Keepers are immune to the power of the green rings, well, what else are you going to do? Sometimes bullets beat out everything. Other than that, though, I have to say things played out pretty much the way I expected them to play out. People I expected would play out died, and the people I expected to live and kick ass did just that. Now, I think things ended rather well. I'm not completely satisfied, but it could have been worse, so I guess I'll say that I'm mostly satisfied. I don't know what they can do after this story arc. Usually we get a hint of a future story arc somewhere in the current story arc, and I just didn't see it. Maybe you did, and if you did, please point it out to me. So I really don't know where they can go with this, although I do have my theories considering I've read Green Lantern and New Guardians, and I know how those two have been playing out. Besides this, though, it's a pretty solid issue. You kind of know how things going to play out, but there's nothing wrong with that, and come on, Green Lanterns with gats. Come on. Next up is Birds of Prey number 6. It's been a confusing ride with this one. I mean, I never thought that I would be 6 issues into it and still not have a full grasp of the entire plot. Wait, what's that? everything and the villains and the story and the plot and everything is explained in this one issue? Seriously? We've had 5 issues of confusion and plot twists that I didn't get because I didn't understand what was going on, and everything just came crashing down and explained in one issue? Well, you know what I have to say to that? Best recap issue ever! Seriously though, it made everything clear, and now I get what's going on, and now I understand what the hell the birds need to do to stop it. And I'm like, holy crap, I can't believe this happened. And now that I really think about it, now that I've reread some of the past issues, the twists, the plot twists, and the confusion parts and the memory jumps and everything, it all makes sense now. I wish they had left some sort of clue for us to read into. Not everybody's a fan of Inception. So, still though, gotta hand it to Dwayne Swarzynski. I can never pronounce his name right. But I gotta hand it to him though for trying to give us kind of a mind screw, which sort of succeeded if you understood what was going on. But I'm also glad he busted out an issue like this. Makes me anticipate the next issue because it is the concluding issue. So, woo! I know I've been ragging on issues for being filler recap issues, but this one was needed, so good job. Next up, Nightwing number 6. Alright, so after that left field standalone comic issue that we got in issue 5, we're back on track. We got a couple of reveals. The identity of Psycho, the fact that Psycho's still alive like we all knew he was, and the fact that there is a traitor in Dick's Mist. I do have a couple of issues with this issue. First of all, the fact that Dick is traveling with the circus across country and it just so happens that crimes are being stopped by Nightwing at these stops that they make. I mean, I can't believe no one has put 2 and 2 together and at least thought about, weird how Nightwing only stops by and fights crime at the cities where Haley's circus is stopping by. I wonder why that is. I can't believe no one's addressing that. So now we know what Psycho is, or who Psycho is, rather, and we know who his little accomplice is, but we still don't know why he has such hatred for Dick Grayson, why he considers him to be the fiercest killer in Gotham, and what this has to do with Haley, Dick, or anything. I'm hoping this gets addressed real soon. Other than that though, the action was intense, the issue was intense, some of the dialogue was a little slow, but if this issue was meant to build up for the concluding issue in 7, then hey, whatever, I'm good with it. And if this was meant to be a filler issue, it really didn't feel that way, which I'm really happy for. Though the villains that appeared in this issue kind of sucked. They kind of sucked. Still though, a good solid issue by Kyle Higgins. Thumbs up, check it out. Okay, hands down, I think you know which issue, which comic is the pick of this edition of the 52 review. I think everybody knows at this point. But in case you don't know, let me introduce Batman, number 6. Okay, so I pretty much from issue 1, I never thought that Scott Snyder had the potential to do wrong or make a bad issue. In fact, once after the 3rd issue, I was pretty much convinced that the man could do no wrong and could bust out a story arc that was worth the 11 issues, which is what the story arc is planned for in length. Still though, every issue I read has just been amazing, and I always wondered, how the hell can he top each issue? The last issue was so good, especially with number 5. Remember how my reaction was with number 5? That was not me scripting or acting, that was generally a very good reaction that came straight from the heart. And it is with great pride and joy that I say that issue 6 pretty much can somehow top issue 5. Holy crap. I mean, just look at the cover. Look at the cover. Look at how freaky that is. It's like, oh, you know you want to read this because look at the cover. Is that Batman turning into a disgusting looking owl thing? Oh man. And even though we know that the cover doesn't really reflect what goes on in the story, it kind of did to a point. So, as we found out in issue 5, Batman's not exactly in the best of situations right now. In fact, the Talon's about one knife thrust away from killing him. Hint, hint. And just by looking at the first 3 pages, your heart sinks. Mine did when I saw what kind of a sorry state Batman was in. And he did mention that the water by the fountain was drugged. Batman has had no food, barely anything to drink for a week. He's tired, he's beaten, he's bruised, he's bloody, he's broken. And the water might be drugged. And by the way, love Greg Capullo's art to reflect the state of insanity that Batman may be going through. Seeing things in normal vision and seeing it in Batman drugged vision is just impressive art. Capullo's artwork just is simply amazing. Seeing the difference between what is reality and the neuroses that Batman is going through while he's still drugged. And just the look of his face and his eye, especially in the first couple of panels. Oof, man, it just sends a chill down your spine. Also the fact that the Court of Owls are just people in masks, and the fact that there is even a kid wearing one of those creepy looking masks is just something unsettling. The fact that this society, secret society, has been around and not even the great master detective Batman knew about them. Or rather, he knew about them but didn't think they existed. Well, how wrong he was. Still though, somehow Batman took a page from the Green Lantern page book and got some willpower to fight back somehow. And that little bit of action is just really well done. The reaction the Court of Owls does during and after the fight, it's just both amazing and eerie at the same time. Every time I think that Capullo and Snyder are done busting out something incredible, they come up with another issue and it just somehow manages to top the previous one. I don't know how they're doing it. I'm really glad that they are, but I have no idea how they're doing it. And 6 issues in, and I still have no clue how this will turn out, how this will end. Batman may have won this battle in this issue, but he is far from safe, and the war is far from over. Who knows how things will play out? But considering how this issue ended, well, it seems we won't be seeing the last of the Talon, or rather, the Talons, for a while. In fact, this issue is pretty important, not just because of the storyline itself in this Batman series, but the fact that we start getting hints of that crossover that you've been hearing rumors about. It's not a rumor, it's going to happen. The Night of Owls. And it will cross over only in the Bat books, in the Bat family of books. I'm not sure which ones just yet, but whatever ones you think of, you're probably right. Honestly, Scott Snyder is such a good writer. He's really done Batman justice, and he has rightfully niched a place in the pantheon of legendary writers, I think. This is another well-done issue in a very stellar series, and I can't wait to see issue 7 and other issues and the Night of Owls crossover issues. I already read a bunch of Bat family books anyways, so this is just icing on the cake. Honestly, DC fans, new comic fans, whatever, get this series. Read Batman. It is definitely worth it. I cannot recommend it, and I am like hiding or suppressing a crapload of my giddiness towards it. Seriously. In fact, I'm even more giddy because Scott Snyder will be at WonderCon, and I'm going to WonderCon, so yeah. Alright guys, that about does it for now. As always, if you have any questions, comments, corrections, or anything, recommendations, post them down in the commentary plot, and I will try to get back to you as soon as possible. In one of my previous installments of 52 Review, I made a mistake with Batwoman, and I got called out and I got corrected, and I just want to thank 100 Batarangs for the correction and for keeping it civil. I'm so glad you're not that guy. So, thank you. This is exactly what my vlogs should encourage. Dialogue. Talking comics. I mean, that's the whole idea of my vlog. So thanks for that. And thank you, all of you who have sent comments and feedback and all that stuff. I really appreciate it. And that alone is what keeps me going. So thank you for that. Nothing more to add other than say, live nerdcore, Y2M out.